It's strange when a man who thinks so deeply still feels lost. A Sigma male often spends hours reflecting on life, analyzing choices, and watching the world from a quiet distance. He doesn't follow the crowd. He lives by his own values. And yet, he can still wake up with one question pressing on his mind. What's my purpose? This is one of the biggest challenges for Sigma males. On the outside, they seem focused. They seem clear. But on the inside, many of them carry a quiet feeling that they haven't found what really matters. They keep asking, keep thinking, and keep searching, but nothing seems to stick. That's because purpose isn't just about thinking. It's not always something you figure out alone. It's something you build slowly through action and connection. And that's exactly where many Sigma males run into blocks. They're deep thinkers, yes. But sometimes that deep thinking hides fear. Sometimes it hides pain. And sometimes it hides habits that push away the very things that could lead to purpose. This video isn't here to label or judge. It's here to uncover, to explore the blocks that hold Sigma males back, even when they have the tools to find meaning. These blocks are subtle. They don't always feel like problems. In fact, some may even feel like strengths. But when it comes to finding purpose, they create roadblocks that are easy to miss. The good news? Once you see these blocks clearly, you can work around them. You don't have to give up who you are. You don't need to become someone else, but you may need to shift how you think and what you allow into your life. In the next part of this video, we'll look at 6 blocks that often stand between Sigma males and their deeper sense of direction. If you've ever felt stuck, even with all your awareness, this may help you understand why. Block number 1. Over-reliance on solitude. Solitude is a strong part of the Sigma male mindset. It gives them time to think, plan, and create. But when solitude becomes the only way of living, it can turn from a strength into a trap. At first, being alone feels like freedom. No noise, no pressure, no expectations. Sigma males often thrive in this space. They can go deep into ideas. They can work on their own goals. They can stay away from distractions. But after a while, that same space starts to shrink. The thoughts begin to repeat. The plans stay in the mind, never in action. The freedom becomes isolation. What makes it tricky is that this block doesn't feel like a problem at first. It feels like a comfort zone. But that comfort zone is where purpose often fades. When you don't share your ideas, you don't test them. When you don't act, you don't grow. When you don't connect with others in any way, you don't get new direction. Even the best thinkers need to step outside themselves. Not all the time. Not in fake ways. But enough to stretch. Enough to grow. Solitude, when used wisely, should recharge you, not trap you. And when purpose is the goal, too much time alone can create fog instead of clarity. Purpose often shows up in motion. In doing, failing, adjusting, and trying again. Solitude helps you reflect, but without action, that reflection stays in your head. And Sigma males often stay there too long. They keep thinking but never build. They keep planning but never launch. The deeper danger? Solitude can turn into avoidance. Avoidance of fear. Avoidance of failure. Avoidance of connection. And that avoidance is the silent killer of purpose. This doesn't mean you need to become social. It means using solitude with balance, stepping out just enough to bring your thoughts to life, creating instead of only thinking, sharing instead of only storing, and finding out what matters by doing something, not just imagining it. Solitude is powerful, but without limits, it becomes the first block on the road to purpose. Block number 2, resistance to external feedback. Sigma males don't follow the crowd, and that's one of their greatest strengths. But it can also become a quiet weakness. When you stop trusting outside voices completely, you stop growing in ways you can't see on your own. Purpose isn't something you always find alone. Sometimes someone sees something in you that you've missed. Sometimes an outside opinion points you towards something better. But when a Sigma male rejects all outside input, he misses those small turning points. This resistance usually comes from experience. Maybe they were judged too much in the past. Maybe they were told to follow a path that didn't fit. So now they trust only themselves. That sounds smart. That sounds independent. But it becomes a block when it turns into a closed loop. If you only listen to your own voice, your view gets narrow. Your strengths go unchecked. Your blind spots grow bigger. And your purpose stays just out of reach. Not because you don't have it, but because you won't let anyone help you see it clearly. Feedback doesn't always mean advice. It could be honest words from someone you respect. It could be small signs from people reacting to your work. It could be patterns that show up in how others respond to what you say and do. These things hold clues. When you resist them out of habit or pride, you lose valuable information. You start to believe that you have to figure it all out alone, that asking for feedback is weak. That listening means giving up control. But the truth is, feedback can give you control. It shows you where to aim, where to improve, where to adjust. And when you want to find purpose, those adjustments matter. Sigma males don't need constant approval, but they do need a few strong mirrors, a few clear voices. Not to follow, but to challenge and sharpen their path. When you open that door just a little, the right feedback can move you forward faster than years of silent thought. And that's why resistance to outside input becomes the second block on the road to finding real purpose. Block number 3, perfectionism and unrealistic standards. Sigma males often hold themselves to very high standards. They want to be excellent at what they do. They want their work to matter. They don't care about doing things halfway, and that's a good trait. But when this desire turns into perfectionism, it becomes a block. The problem with perfectionism is that it stops movement. You wait for the perfect idea before you start. You wait for the right time, the right feeling, the perfect conditions. And while you wait, nothing happens. Days pass, then weeks, then months. And the search for purpose gets buried under fear of not doing it right. Sigma males can be harsh with themselves. They may not show it, but inside they think, if I'm going to do something meaningful, it has to be perfect. So instead of trying, they keep thinking. Instead of building, they keep editing in their minds. And that loop keeps them stuck. Real purpose doesn't arrive fully formed. It grows. It changes. It needs failure. It needs trial and error. But perfectionism says, no mistakes allowed. And when you believe that, you avoid the very process that leads to purpose. This block is often hidden. Perfectionism feels responsible. It feels serious. You tell yourself you're being smart by waiting. You tell yourself it's not time yet. But really it's fear. The fear that if you try and fail, it means you're not good enough. That fear keeps you safe but also stuck. To break this block, Sigma males need to stop aiming for perfect and start aiming for progress. Start small. Make things messy. Learn by doing. Purpose doesn't show up in your mind. It shows up in your actions. Lowering the bar doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're moving. And motion is what opens doors. No one finds their purpose by waiting. They find it by starting, messing up, learning, and trying again. If perfection is your goal, purpose will always feel just out of reach. But if growth is your goal, purpose becomes possible. Block number 4. Escape from emotional intimacy. One of the lesser-known blocks Sigma males face is their distance from emotional closeness. They are often guarded, not just with strangers, but even with the people they trust. They don't like feeling exposed. They don't like being vulnerable. And they don't want anyone seeing the parts of them they don't fully understand themselves. This need for emotional protection makes sense. It helps them avoid pain. It keeps them in control, but it also keeps them far from the kind of deep connection that often reveals purpose. Purpose is not only found through thinking, it's found through feeling, through struggle, love, loss, and connection. When you let someone see your real self, you also see yourself more clearly. But if you avoid that level of closeness, you lose that mirror. Sigma males often say things like, I don't need anyone, or I work better alone, and in many ways they do. But when it comes to purpose, full isolation doesn't help. Emotions matter. They guide choices. They reveal what really means something. And when you avoid intimacy, you lose access to that emotional guidance. Avoiding emotional connection also means you miss the chance to be inspired. Many people find purpose through serving someone they care about, through being needed, through building something that helps others. But if you're too closed off, you can't feel that spark. Some Sigma males avoid intimacy because they've been hurt. Others simply never got used to it. Either way, this avoidance becomes a silent block. It hides opportunities for growth. It hides chances to care deeply. And it hides the kind of human moments that point you toward what matters most. To move forward, this block has to be softened. Not broken, just softened. That might mean opening up to one person, sharing one truth, taking one small risk. When you do that, you open the door to emotion, and emotion leads to clarity. You don't need to be emotional all the time, but you do need access to your heart if you want to find your purpose. That's what this block hides, and why it matters so much to face it. Block number 5, distrust of social structures. Sigma males are independent by nature. They don't trust systems easily. That includes schools, companies, governments, and yes, even social norms around success or career. They question everything, and while that gives them strength, it also creates a major block when trying to find direction. The truth is, many paths to purpose include systems. A business has structure. A cause has a network. A craft has rules. But when a Sigma male sees any of these as fake, controlling, or useless, he avoids them. That keeps him from using the tools those systems offer. This distrust doesn't always look like rebellion. It's quiet. A Sigma male might say, "That's not for me," or "I'll do it my own way." That can work, but only up to a point. At some stage, building purpose means working with others, following a few rules, learning from a system before breaking it. Without that, you're left building from scratch. And that slows things down. It makes the journey heavier. You waste energy avoiding things that could have helped just because they came from a system you don't like. Many Sigma males don't want to be part of anything that feels false. But not every structure is fake. Some are simply tools. A mentor, a course, a team, a platform. These aren't traps, they're bridges. But you can't walk across a bridge you don't trust. When this block is strong, a Sigma male might feel like nothing fits. No job feels right. No mission feels real. No group feels honest. And so he stays in his own world, trying to build purpose without support. It feels pure, but it's slow, lonely, and often unclear. To break this block, you don't need to surrender your independence. You just need to test a few paths instead of rejecting them all. Try one system. Join one team. Follow one structure for a while, not to belong to it, but to learn from it. Purpose doesn't always live in rebellion. Sometimes it lives in the small structures that help you grow. And if you can learn to trust just a few of them, your path becomes clearer. Block number 6, unprocessed past experiences. A lot of Sigma males carry pain they've never fully looked at. They're strong, focused, and good at keeping things to themselves. But deep inside, there are memories that never got resolved. Words that hurt. Moments that shook their trust. Disappointments that still live in the back of their mind. These things don't go away just because you bury them. Unprocessed experiences often shape how Sigma males move through life. They may not talk about the past, but it still affects how they think and feel. If someone once made them feel small, they might now avoid any place where they could fail. If someone close once betrayed them, they might now avoid all close bonds. If they grew up feeling misunderstood, they may now believe no one will ever truly get them. All of this can block purpose. Purpose needs clarity. It needs a sense of truth and direction. But when your mind is clouded by unspoken pain, it's hard to see clearly. You might keep chasing something vague without ever landing on what feels real. Or you might give up before you even begin, because deep down, you don't believe you deserve it. This block is powerful because it's quiet. Sigma males are good at moving forward without looking back. But when the past hasn't been faced, it doesn't stay in the past. It shows up in hesitation, in frustration, in the constant feeling that something's missing. The path to purpose often starts with healing. That doesn't mean reliving every wound or blaming others. It means noticing what still hurts, owning what shaped you, and letting go of stories that no longer help you grow. Some Sigma males may benefit from journaling, therapy, or quiet reflection. Others may simply need to speak out loud what they've been holding in. No matter the method, the key is to stop pretending the past doesn't matter. Because it does. It shapes your choices. It colors your view of the world. And until it's faced, it will always block your full potential. The good news is that healing doesn't make you weak. It makes you clear. And clarity is the beginning of real purpose. If you've made it this far, you probably see one or more of these blocks in your own life. Maybe you thought your thinking would lead you to your purpose. Maybe you've spent years reading, planning, and preparing. And yet that deeper sense of direction still feels out of reach. The truth is, being a deep thinker is a gift. But it's not enough by itself. Purpose needs more than thought. It needs movement. It needs connection. It needs healing. And it needs you to step out of old patterns, even if they once kept you safe. The blocks we've talked about today are not flaws. They're patterns. They were built over time, usually for good reasons. You trusted yourself instead of others because people once let you down. You aimed for perfection because you didn't want to fail. You stayed silent about the past because no one made it safe to speak. But just because a block once served you doesn't mean it should stay with you forever. Every Sigma male reaches a point where the old ways stop working. Solitude starts to feel like a cage. Perfectionism leads to inaction. Emotional distance becomes lonely. At that moment you have two choices. You can double down and wait for things to change, or you can pause, reflect, and decide to move differently. This doesn't mean giving up your nature. It means evolving it. Keeping the strength, but letting go of the fear. Keeping the insight, but adding action. Keeping your peace, but making space for real meaning too. You don't need to fix everything at once. Just start with one block. Notice it. Question it. Challenge it. That small step is how purpose begins, not with a big goal, but with a better way of being. Now, ask yourself, which block is the loudest in your life right now? Is it your perfectionism? Your fear of connection? Your need to do everything on your own? Name it. Don't run from it. That's the first move towards something real. If this video helped you see yourself more clearly, let us know in the comments. You're not the only one facing these things. And sometimes, just knowing you're not alone is enough to spark real change. Until next time, stay honest, stay aware, and keep moving forward. Because even a small step past a block can lead you closer to your true purpose.